You're about to learn something most people will never believe. Reality bends, not slowly, not eventually, instantly. And the people who know how to do it? They're not magicians. They're not chosen. They're initiated. For centuries, the world's most powerful individuals, rulers, bankers, popes, CEOs, have studied a system most people never even hear about. Not in school, not in church, not even in universities. A system hidden in plain sight, inside symbols, rituals, and sacred geometry. It's the 33rd degree, the highest level of Masonic knowledge, and at that level, one truth becomes clear. Reality isn't fixed, it's programmable. This isn't a metaphor, it's literal. Your life, your identity, your limits, all shaped by internal code. And once you learn to rewrite that code, reality shifts instantly. In this video, I'll break down the forgotten metaphysical law that lets the elite re-script outcomes, why Masonic degrees weren't just about power, they were about precision control of the subconscious, and how you can apply this knowledge right now to reshape what's possible in your life. You won't need to join a lodge. You won't need robes, rituals, or secrets. You just need to understand what they understand and think the way they think. Because once you do, reality stops happening to you. You happen to reality. That which is above is like to that which is below, and that which is below is like to that which is above, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. The Emerald Tablet of Hermes, Trismegistus. You've probably seen the phrase before, as above, so below. Maybe it was carved into stone, or hidden inside the floor of a cathedral, or printed on the back of a tarot card. But what you might not realize is this. This isn't a metaphor. It's the first law of reality manipulation. It means your inner world creates your outer world. Your beliefs project outward. Your state, your identity, your subconscious expectations, they ripple up and manifest into what you experience as real. And here's where it gets terrifying. The top 1%, those trained in ancient initiatory systems, don't just know this. They use it, constantly, to shift perception, to encode belief, to bend the rules, while everyone else plays by them. This is the first distortion, duality. At the entry levels, Freemasonry teaches in symbols, but by the 33rd degree, those symbols become tools. The black and white checkered floor? It's not just design. It represents the field of duality, the world of opposites where the masses are stuck choosing between pre-programmed options. The compass and square? They're not just building tools, they're metaphysical instruments representing spirit and matter, shaping perception from the inside out. When you're trapped in duality, you think you have free will. When you rise above duality, you realize choice itself can be programmed. This is why the elite don't panic when the world falls apart. They understand that what's above, your belief system, bends what's below, your outcomes. They understand that if they control the symbolic landscape, religion, media, education, they don't have to control people. They just control the field people think they're choosing from. So how do they use this to bend reality instantly? They don't wait for circumstances to shift. They shift internally and let reality follow. They speak in rituals. They imprint belief through emotion. They visualize symbols. They perform archetypal roles. Why? Because the subconscious doesn't speak in language. It speaks in images, emotion, pattern. And the subconscious, not your logic, is what actually writes your reality. That's why someone can logically say, I want wealth, but unconsciously sabotage it because their inner world is still encoded with lack. That's why affirmations don't work for most people, because they're saying one thing, but feeling another. The elite don't make that mistake. They speak the subconscious language fluently. Image, symbol, emotion, repetition. This is how they program reality, and they've been doing it for centuries, while everyone else waits for permission to change. You don't need permission. You need to stop reacting to below and start shaping from above. Because when you align your inner world with the outcome you want, reality has no choice but to match. Identity is the master key. In the 33rd degree, there's an unspoken rule. Reality bends at the level of identity, not intention. Most people try to change their life by setting goals. I want to be rich. I want to be confident. I want to be free. But here's the hard truth the elite are taught early. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. And what you are is determined by a set of hidden scripts running just below your conscious awareness. These scripts weren't created by you. They were given to you by culture, by religion, by your parents, by the school system. They were reinforced through repetition, emotion, and status cues, the same tools used in elite ritual systems. That's why most people never escape their circumstances. They're not blocked by resources. They're blocked by identity-level programming that tells them who they are, what they deserve, and how reality is allowed to respond to them. The elite know. Identity comes first. Reality comes second. When you look at a high-level mason, a billionaire, or a world shaper, they don't act like they might be powerful. They already believe they are, not because they're faking it, but because they've gone through rituals specifically designed to reprogram identity. Initiation into high-level orders isn't about costumes. It's about encoding a new self-concept so deeply that the old version of you dies. That's why Masonic rituals often simulate death and rebirth, not symbolically, neurologically. They know that when identity changes, everything else becomes inevitable. Here's the catch. Your current identity is an illusion. It was formed without your consent, and it governs every result you're getting in life right now. Your bank account, identity. Your relationships, identity. Your health, confidence, attention span, anxiety level, all identity. And until you rewrite that core code, you can try to change your life, but you'll always snap back to the limits of your self-image. This is why goal setting fails. This is why affirmations feel fake. This is why 95% of people stay in the same loop for years, sometimes decades, because the subconscious says, that's not who we are, and your brain will not allow reality to exceed the identity you're currently running. Why the elite use rituals, and why you were trained to dismiss them. You've probably seen the images before: a dark room, a circle of robed men, a strange floor pattern, a candle, a sword, a scroll. It looks like a movie, and that's by design, because the greatest trick ever pulled was convincing the public that ritual is superstition, while the elite have been using it for neuropsychological reprogramming for centuries. They don't use ritual for drama. They use it for precision, to encode identity, to shift perception, to speak directly to the subconscious. Here's the key you were never taught. The subconscious doesn't respond to logic. It responds to symbolism, repetition, and emotional charge. This is why religious ceremonies, ancient initiations, and Masonic rites all look so theatrical, because they're not speaking to your conscious mind. They're speaking to your operating system. When a man kneels in front of a sacred symbol, when he's blindfolded and guided by oath, when he hears specific phrases, stands on specific geometry, and repeats words back, his inner identity shifts, not because the ritual means something, but because the brain gets recoded through symbolism. Think of it like this: language equals code. Symbols equals compression. Ritual equals execution. It's not spooky, it's neurological. Why symbolism works, even if you don't believe it. Let's be clear, you don't need to believe in rituals for them to affect you. You've been participating in them your whole life, saying the Pledge of Allegiance every morning in school, singing hymns under stained glass as a child, throwing a graduation cap to mark your rebirth into society. All of it, ritual, all of it, symbolism, all of it, designed to anchor specific beliefs about who you are, how the world works, and what you're allowed to expect from life. And now, here's the dangerous part. The elite use the same process, not to limit themselves, but to free themselves. They create rituals not to follow rules, but to rewrite them. They design environments where only one conclusion becomes possible. I am powerful. I am chosen. I shape reality. How to use this right now? You don't need candles and robes. You don't need Latin incantations or a temple. You need to ritualize your identity shift. Here's how. Choose a symbol. Pick something that represents power, clarity, or whatever shift you want. Place it in your space. Pair it with a daily trigger. Every time you see it, repeat a power-coded phrase. I bend reality by default. My word becomes form. Anchor it emotionally. Say it while moving, exercising, or triggering high arousal. This locks it into the nervous system. Repeat it without fail. Repetition plus emotion plus symbolism equals reprogramming. This is how you install a new identity. This is how you speak to your subconscious. This is how the top 1% bend reality, not over time, but instantly. Because the moment your inner world shifts, the outer world doesn't argue, it follows. The power behind the curtain. He who controls meaning controls reality. There's a secret most people never question. Nothing in life has meaning, except the meaning you give it. But the elite, they don't stop there. They don't just assign meaning to their own experiences, they assign meaning to yours. And once they control what something means to you, they control how you think, how you feel, how you respond, how you live. Symbols are the Trojan horses of the mind. Take the all-seeing eye. To most, it's just weird conspiracy wallpaper. To the initiated, it represents the activated pineal gland, the third eye, consciousness watching consciousness. Same symbol, two realities. The difference? Meaning. Meaning creates emotional charge. Emotional charge creates belief. Belief creates perception. Perception filters reality. This is why a single symbol, cross, crescent, $sign, can make someone feel reverent, ashamed, furious, or hopeful. Not because of what it is, but because of what it's been programmed to mean. The 33rd degree hack. Become the author of meaning. To bend reality instantly, you must do what the elite do every day. Refuse the default meaning. Replace it with your own. That setback, it doesn't mean failure, it means initiation. That doubt, it doesn't mean stop, it means you're getting close. That symbol of fear, rewire it, use it, make it yours. This is how you break the spell. You stop reacting to the world's meaning and you start creating your own. When you say, this means I am rising, this means I'm ready, this means reality is bending in my favor. You're not lying, you're not faking, you're encoding. You're doing what the highest initiates do, writing new meaning into the field and watching it respond. Because the truth is, reality doesn't bend to effort, it bends to interpretation. And the top 1% have always known, whoever defines the moment designs the outcome. Time is the final trap. and the 33rd degree teaches you to collapse it. There's a lie you've been told since birth. Change takes time. But the 33rd degree doesn't teach you to wait. It teaches you to collapse time. Because the moment you believe change takes time, you unconsciously delay power. You push outcomes into the future. You create resistance, hesitation, and distance from the life you want. That delay? It isn't reality. It's programming. Time isn't the obstacle. Your belief about time is. Here's the hidden key. All reality exists in the now. The past is a story you're still telling. The future is a projection you keep rehearsing. But the only place change can occur, the only point of contact with true power, is right now. And the elite know, if you don't change now, you probably won't change ever. Because the more you reinforce not yet, the stronger the timeline of never becomes. The 33rd degree ritualizes the now. At the highest initiations, initiates are stripped of time-based thinking. They are blindfolded to erase past reference points, asked to answer questions as if they already are enlightened, guided through rituals that simulate an identity that hasn't happened yet. Why? Because when the nervous system experiences something as real, it becomes real, whether or not it's happened yet. Your brain can't tell the difference between imagined and actual. It only cares about what you feel now. That's why rehearsing a memory can trigger trauma. And imagining victory can rewire confidence. Your body obeys the signal, not the calendar. So how do you collapse time in your own life? Stop asking when it will happen. Start embodying the version of you who already has. Not hoping, being. Right now, sit like them, speak like them, decide like them, move like them, think in language that assumes it's already real. It's coming becomes, it's here. I hope becomes, I am. One day becomes, today. This is not delusion. It's neurological alignment. You collapse time when you collapse disbelief. You bend reality when you refuse delay. This is the most dangerous thing you can do in a world trained to wait. Act as if you're already it, because you are. Build the system, so reality bends without effort. If you've made it this far, you already understand. Reality bends at the level of perception. Identity is the generator of outcomes. Symbolism encodes belief. Meaning creates control. Time is an illusion, but knowing isn't enough, because the elite don't just know these things. They live them. They ritualize them. They create personal systems that make reality respond automatically. And here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Here's how to build your reality-bending system. 1. Create identity rituals. Daily installation. Every day, install your new self, not through hope, but through activation. Stand up, breathe deep, look in the mirror. Speak power-coded identity statements out loud. I create, I command, I embody. Anchor this with movement or music. Repeat until your nervous system believes you. 2. Use symbolic triggers, environmental encoding. Choose a few meaningful symbols. One for power, one for presence, one for alignment. Place them where you'll see them constantly. Desk, phone wallpaper, journal cover. These aren't decorations, they're reality anchors. Every time you see them, they remind you, I shape reality from within. 3. Rewrite meaning on sight, instant transmutation. When something bad happens, you don't react. You rewrite. You assign power to the moment. Delay? The path is upgrading. Rejection? Alignment just sharpened. Fear? The threshold to expansion. Every obstacle is a ritual prompt. Every event is a chance to encode power. 4. Collapse time, present tense visualization. At least once per day, Close your eyes and experience the outcome you want, but not from the outside, from inside it, as if it's already real, as if you've been living it for years. Let your brain encode it as fact. Let your nervous system fire new patterns. Reality won't argue. 5. Script in reverse. The highest initiates do this. Write about your future from your future. It's wild how easy it feels now. I can't believe I used to think it was hard. This version of me has always been here. This isn't pretend, it's creation. You're writing the reality your brain will expect, and what your brain expects, it attracts, filters, and reinforces. Stacked together, this becomes a living operating system. No more chasing outcomes, no more reacting to default meaning, no more waiting for change. You become the cause, not the effect. You don't beg for reality to bend, you expect it to. Because the final secret of the 33rd degree is this: you were never meant to follow the program. You were meant to write it. You were never powerless. You were just programmed to forget. So let's zoom out. You came here with a question, spoken or unspoken. How do I actually bend reality? What you got if you made it this far is not a motivational answer. It's not a mindset trick. It's not a productivity hack. It's a system. One the top 1% have used for centuries. Disguised in ceremony, encoded in myth, buried in architecture, and hiding in plain sight. Let's recap. Reality bends to identity. Not goals, not hustle. Identity. Identity is shaped by symbolism, repetition, and emotional charge. Ritual is the tool. The elite use it. You were taught to mock it. Meaning is programmable. What you assign to a moment becomes your power or your prison. Time is plastic. Every delay you believe in is a spell you can break. Your system is the spell book. Rituals, symbols, words, triggers. Together they create a feedback loop where reality can't help but reflect your internal shift. But here's what most never realize. The secret isn't that this knowledge exists. The secret is that you've already used it, just in reverse. You've already performed rituals, but for self-doubt. You've already encoded symbols, but tied to fear. You've already practiced belief, just not the ones that serve you. Now, you're awake. You've seen the structure. You've seen behind the veil. And more importantly, you've seen what's possible. You came in expecting a story about secret societies and esoteric symbols. You got that. But you also got the code beneath the ritual, the psychology, the mechanics, the mirror you now hold in your hand. You expected mystery. You got power. If this hit deep, and you want to keep rewiring your inner world, we break this kind of knowledge down every week, not in theory, in action. More tools, more rituals, more decoding of elite knowledge into everyday power. So if you want to go deeper, the next reality-bending video is waiting. I'll meet you there. Until then, stay awake, stay sharp, and bend well.